Welcome in, everyone, to Football Friday, presented by Angels Alive. Just me today, so a little quick short show. We're going to get it going here. So, starting off, go damn dogs for the last time of the 2021 college football season. Number 3, Georgia. 33-18 over number 1 Alabama in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium. The first championship for Georgia in 41 years, 1980. The last time Georgia has won it all. I was in Athens, downtown, watching the game. It was absolutely ridiculous, crazy, amazing atmosphere. I'm so happy I got the opportunity to go there and witness them winning the championship. It was meant to be. It was on my mom's birthday on Monday. Needed to win it for her, and the dogs got it done. It was it was almost pandemonium early. Dogs ran back a fumble for a touchdown. They ended up rolling it in an incomplete pass. Bama goes down, kicks a field goal. The dogs respond. It was pretty defensive in the first half. 9-6 at halftime for Alabama. Just 5 field goals there. But then finally, late in the third quarter, Zamir White punches it in from 1 yard out. The Georgia defense stands up once again. They finally give a touchdown up in the fourth quarter to give Alabama the lead back 18-13. And then it was all Georgia after that. 22 unanswered points there. Or 20 unanswered points there for the dogs. Stetson Bennett was outstanding. No turnover. He did have the one fumble, which I thought was BS. I didn't think it was a fumble. That's not just me being a homer. It looked like he still had the ball in my mind. I thought it was similar to Bryce Young's, but the refs called it different. Led to an Alabama touchdown. Stetson was the offensive player of the game, 17-26, 65.4%, 224, 2 touchdowns, and the one fumble there. But Zeus was fantastic all night. 13 carries, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Cameron Latu, the only 100-yard receiver in this game. Jameson Williams went down with an injury. We'll talk about that a little bit. But Cameron Latu, 5 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Pickens with a long catch that electrified. What's up, Mark? I did not think anyone else was coming on.
What is going on, big guy? Talking about the big game.
Yes, sir. Just started talking about it. So, I already mentioned Stetson, Zeus, Latu, Pickens.
It was a great day to be in Athens. It was a great day. Always a good day to be a Bulldog. What I found just really cool about this game is watching it with other Athenians and Bulldog fans. I looked at our table at the Blind Pig in Athens, and I said, going into halftime, we're going to win this game. This is the first time that we held Alabama to field goals. When we were playing them, it was we got a field goal, they got a touchdown. We got a field goal. I said, I have a good feeling, and we came out and performed in the second half.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Getting a lot of feedback on my end from your sound, Mark.
Trying to make it better.
But yeah, I felt the same way, man. I said late in the fourth quarter when we took the lead that we we weren't going to give the ball back. We did, but when we led 26-18. And then we gave the ball back one more time. And I know that's when Georgia fans were thinking, well, this is it. This is where Bryce Young gets us and is the Heisman and goes down and ties the game at 26. But then Keeley had his shining moment, ended up he was the defensive player of the game, I believe, right?
He was, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. 6 tackles, all of them solos, a pass deflection, and the game sealing 79-yard pick six. Brock Bowers scored again. Still got another amazing 2 years coming up for him. So
I think what's cool about this storyline is you can't ever say that you're automatically going to win another one. I don't believe that it's going to be another 41 years. I believe that they woke a sleeping giant. And in my personal opinion, people can disagree with me. I don't think that – I mean, I love – I've been critical of him. He got us our championship, but he didn't play an awesome game. Bennett, if you look at it.
Yeah.
With his incompletions, he has a tendency to run backwards instead of up and out in the pocket. And so I believe that we're going to have more talent at that position in the future. And we had freshmen score across the board in this game. And so I just believe that we're going to be a perennial title contender moving forward.
Yeah, it was crazy. They made a lot of noise, or the media did anyways, after the game about there were, I think, 7 total players between the two teams that entered the transfer portal right away. But it doesn't matter for either team. They both have, I don't know exact rankings, but I know both are in the top 5, like they are usually every year. And I know that there's a quarterback. It's going to be interesting to see what Georgia is at quarterback next year, because Stetson still has a year of eligibility. JT Daniels is still there. We have Carson Beck, who is still only a sophomore, I believe. And then you also have Brock Vandergriff and Gunnar Stockton, both coming in. So
yeah, again, it's not taking anything away from Stetson Bennett. I think he's a great leader. They're gonna make this game, this whole season, a 30 for 30. A lot about him being, a walk-on, earning his spot, being overlooked, us breaking the 41-year drought. So it's going to become a movie. But I'm on your train. It's going to be interesting to see, who is under center, who decides to transfer, who decides to stick around.
And luckily for us, we got a familiar opponent coming up, Week 1, 2022, with Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, it is. It's a very familiar face. That's who, in my opinion, was the MVP of this game, was Dan Lanning.
Yeah, I do want to say one thing for Alabama. Christian Harris played his butt off, the linebacker for the Tide. 7 tackles, 5 of them solos. But he had 3 sacks and 4 tackles for loss. That was quite the national championship game for him as well.
And I think this is one the past few years we keep getting it, but these by far were the 2 best teams in the country. When you turn on the TV in the future on Sunday, you're going to see multiple players from this game in the NFL play.
Yeah, there was probably out of the 44 starters on offense and defense combined, probably like half of those guys are going to the NFL, if not more. So Georgia covered -2.5, and the under 53 hit just barely. I had gotten it at 52.5, I think it was. that when I got it, and I was like, I didn't even notice at the time because we were all celebrating at the bar, but I looked then back at it and I was like, oh my gosh, dude, the under just hit. The Keely's pick six almost screwed us over, but luckily the under hit. So, all right, let's go to NCAA news. Just a couple things here. So I mentioned Jamison Williams for Alabama did get injured in that game. I knew it right away when they showed the replays. Torn ACL. He's going to the draft. So we'll see when he can get back on the field, see if that impacts his draft stock or not. Who did we have? There was someone just a year or two ago that tore their ACL and was coming out. I can't remember who it was.
Well, Waddle had an injury to his ankle.
Yeah, he had an ankle injury, but I don't think that affected it. I think he will fall a little bit just because he's not going to be able to play his entire rookie season. I would think that he would probably come back like, I don't know. You think about ACL 9 months, so that's like mid-season, possibly.
The way Alabama receivers have been performing at the next level and what I saw them do in the games against us, they are legit next level receivers. I mean, it just depends on how fast you really need a receiver, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they did say they expect him to return to his 4.3 speed, so other news here. Also from the national championship there, Georgia running back Zamir White announcing today he is declaring for the NFL draft as well. So that's another thing that is a storyline going in for next season for the Dogs. Running back who it's going to be. You know, we still got Kenny McIntosh, Kendall Milton. But who are the other guys? Who's our power guy? Because that's the biggest loss with Zeus, I think, was the power element that he brings. James Cook gone as well. Lewis Seen, safety, announcing he is leaving. I think that was the defensive player of the game, actually, Mark. Lewis Seen.
Might have been. I didn't pay. I just know we won the game.
Yeah. I think Lewis Seen was the defensive player of the game. And then lastly, for NCAA here, my other college school here, Penn State running back Noah Kane, he is transferring, and he's going to go down to Baton Rouge and help Brian Kelly at LSU, possibly start for them. So he's had a little bit of a downturn since his freshman year in 2020. This year had injuries, or 2019, I should say. 2020 got hurt, didn't play barely at all, and then this year he was the lead back, but ineffective a lot of the times. So NFL news, more firings. So we talked about on Monday, you know, how are all these guys getting fired? How did Brian Flores get fired and Joe Judge was still having a job? And he does not have a job anymore. The Giants fired Joe Judge this weekend, and I'll get into who they have on tap. I don't actually think I have any interviews yet for the Giants job.
Yeah, the quarterback sneak just, I think, get it in.
Yeah. 10 and 23 in 2 seasons with the Giants. So, yeah. And also kind of a surprise. It was a surprise to me anyways. The Texans are searching for a head coach once again. just 1 year after hiring David Culley from the Baltimore Ravens. He is out of Houston, 4-13 this season. They also fired offensive coordinator Tim Kelly, and that was the biggest issue. At least that's what Ian Rappaport was saying. The Texans wanted him to make offensive staff changes, and he didn't want to. So they're like, all right, you're gone. We'll find a coach that wants to listen to us, I guess.
Yeah, that's what the reports that I read as well. To me, I meant to text you when this first came out, and I got busy. And I was pretty shocked because that 4-13 record is the same record that they had before he got there, and they had people like Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt playing for him. So I thought he actually coached a little bit over of the talent on the roster this year, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, they were in so many games that they had no business being in.
Yeah, and so what I read from Nick Cesario, I think I say his name wrong, but was he just said philosophical differences, and that's what Ian Rappaport was saying is they wanted to make changes. I'm sticking with my guys, and so they showed him the door. It was definitely a power struggle with the GM and the coach.
Yeah, well, it's weird because like Deshaun Watson doesn't like the ownership, and that's why he wants out. But the reason they promoted Tim Kelly to offensive coordinator because that was Deshaun Watson's guy. Deshaun really wanted Kelly to stay, so he's gone.
Do we think Flores reunites with ex-New Englander in Houston?
I don't think that they're going to go Flores because, like I said, Deshaun wants out regardless of who they hire. He does not like Cal McNair and what the ownership does there in Houston. So he doesn't want to play for them. It was never about David Culley. It was never about any of the offensive staff or any of the staff in general. It was about the owners, and he just wants to play for a different owner. So
as much as I want to make fun of different teams like Joe Judge making the Giants just coming out saying people want to come to New York and play for him. That was a crock. And then you see Chicago just can't get it right. I have to say that the Texans, in my opinion, though, they've overtook the Browns for what I consider just, I don't even know the right word, just a laughing stock of the NFL right now. It is not a good look at Houston at all.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that Flores is free now. And, when Deshaun wanted to go to Miami because of Flores. And so now it's like, well, yeah, I think if Flores goes to Chicago, Deshaun Watson isn't an option because they have Justin Fields.
Right.
But I think Denver, if they can get Flores there, Deshaun Watson is most definitely.
I think that would be a good fit for both parties, a really good fit.
Yeah.
I think the Broncos have young skill position players on both sides of the ball. You add Deshaun and Flores, I think they'll be pretty tough.
Yeah, because I think that really when you look at it, of the openings, I think Denver's really the only one where you for sure know that they don't have the quarterback of the future on the roster. You can say the Giants with Daniel Jones, but all signs point that they're bringing him back for another year next year. So,
yeah.
All right. So let's get into head coaching interviews here. A lot of the same names like usual, but so the Broncos and Bears have pretty long lists so far. The Broncos, Rams offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell, Lions DC Aaron Glenn, Chiefs OC Eric Bieniemy, Eagles DC Jonathan Gannon, Packers OC Nathaniel Hackett, Packers quarterbacks coach Luke Getsy, Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, and Patriots linebackers coach and / de facto DC Gerard Mayo as well. Any of those stand out to you in terms of the Broncos, Mark?
No, not particularly, if I'm going to be honest.
Eric Bieniemy. He could go back to Colorado, though. You know, it was a star for the Buffaloes there.
You know, I'm a fan of him. I like his body of work.
That would be an intriguing homecoming for him anyways. For the Bears, Bills OC Brian Daboll, Bills DC Leslie Frazier, Bucks DC Todd Bowles, Bucks OC Byron Leftwich, Colts DC Matt Eberflus, Cowboys DC Dan Quinn, former Dolphins head coach Brian Flores, former Eagles head coach Doug Peterson, and Packers OC Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, I think for me, you know, hearing Dan Quinn come up in these openings, he's been the head coach and he's turned around the Cowboys defense. But I find it so funny that these names pop up so quickly.
Yeah, I do think the Bears, just preliminarily, I think it's either Doug Peterson or Nathaniel Hackett.
I agree.
I don't know why. It's just that's the gut for now.
I mean, I don't. You know, Doug has a ring, and I think he fits in Chicago for me because of the fan base. I think the two hardest fan bases in the NFL are probably one Philly and maybe Chicago second. You could argue a few other teams, but they're going to be tough on them. They haven't won a Super Bowl in a while. They can't figure out the quarterback position, but the fans demand a good product right away when you walk in the door.
Yeah, I think it is interesting. I know. Remember on Monday when you mentioned Bieniemy for the Bears, and I said, well, I don't know if they'd want to go with the Chiefs offensive coordinator for the second coach in a row. And you know, Peterson, before he was the head coach of the Eagles, was the OC under Andy Reid as well. So, all right, for the Dolphins, just 4 names here: Bills OC Brian Daboll, Bills DC Leslie Frazier, Cardinals DC Vance Joseph, and Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. Vance Joseph, the Dolphins DC back in 2016, so that would be a reuniting there. Daboll, though, stands out to me for the Dolphins out of that list anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kellen Moore's got a bigger shot than what most people think, especially depending on what they do with Tua. I could see them going an offensive side of the ball type of coach.
And then the Texans, just one name popped out. They don't even have an official interview request in, but I know Rappaport reported it that Patriots linebackers coach Gerard Mayo would be a strong candidate for them in Houston. So, all right, the Panthers, they are trying to find two new coordinators, offensive coordinator and special teams coordinator. They fired special teams coordinator Chase Blackburn and both their offensive and defensive line coaches, Pat Mayer and Frank Oakham. So they are looking for OC and STC here. For offensive coordinator, 3 guys they've put in requests for: Vikings offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak, Colts wide receivers coach and former Eagles offensive coordinator Mike Groh, and Texans quarterbacks coach Pep Hamilton, who has done wonders this season with Davis Mills.
He's the one that sticks out for me. That's just
and before that,
because of his body of work.
Before that, he was with Justin Herbert. So
yeah, I actually don't even the other two. I mean, I don't know if it's being candid or mean or whatever. I don't know that I would even pick up the phone and call those guys. They're not wowing me by any. I know Kubiak is the son of Gary,
Yeah, I'd rather not have Mike Groh. I've already experienced his work in Philadelphia, so I'd rather not have him as offensive coordinator for the Panthers and whoever the quarterback is next year. As far as special teams coordinator goes, they're looking at Bears special teams coordinator Chris Tabor and former Broncos special teams coordinator Tom McMahon. Chris Tabor would be a spectacular hire for them. One of the best special teams coaches out there for Chicago. I mean, he got Eddie Pinheiro to be one of the better kickers in the league. So,
Yeah, he's
all right. As far as GM interviews, let's go with the Bears first here. They are looking at Colts director of college scouting Morocco Brown, Brown's VP of player personnel Glenn Cook, Saints assistant GM Jeff Ireland, Bills assistant GM Joe Shane, Steelers VP Omar Khan, Patriots player personnel consultant Elliot Wolf, Bears assistant director of player personnel Champ Kelly, Browns VP of football ops Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, and then Chargers director of player personnel Jojo Wooden. I hate that Omar Khan is on there because he is, in my mind, the leading guy that is going to take over when Kevin Colbert steps down after the draft this year. So I don't want anyone to hire Omar Khan. Jeff Ireland has been a GM before. That's the only guy. Elliot Wolf, he's Ron Wolf's son, I think.
gotcha.
I think, anyways. I could be wrong. Not really sure who the leading candidate is in Chicago right now. But yeah, we'll have to see there. The Giants GM search is underway as well. They are looking at Cardinals VP of Pro Personnel and former Cardinals safety Adrian Wilson, Cardinals VP of Player Personnel Quentin Harris, 49ers Assistant GM Adam Peters, 49ers Director of Player Personnel Rand Carthen, Bills Assistant GM Joe Shane, Ravens Director of Player Personnel Joe Horitz, Chiefs Director of Player Personnel Ryan Poles, Titans VP of Player Personnel Ryan Cowden, and Titans Director of Player Personnel Monty Ossenfort. I know they mentioned with the Giants if Joe Horitz would possibly get the job from the Ravens, Wink Martindale could be an interesting candidate for their head coaching position. They looked at him 2 years ago when they hired Joe Judge, and that could be an interesting connection, bringing both Ravens guys over from Baltimore. I know Monty Ossenfort as well. He interviewed for the Atlanta job last year, I believe it was. And obviously Adrian Wilson as well would be an intriguing hire as he moves his way up the ranks after his retirement a few years ago. Vikings, they are looking at for their GM job as well. Bucks VP of Player Personnel John Spytek, Patriots Player Personnel Consultant Elliot Wolf, Browns VP of Player Personnel Glenn Cook, Browns VP of Football Ops Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, Chiefs Director of Player Personnel Ryan Poles, Eagles Director of Player Personnel Brandon Brown, and then an interesting name here, Eagles VP of Football Ops Catherine Ricci. She, if she would be hired by the Vikings, would be the second female GM in NFL history, the first back in '83. And I know Rap Sheet had a tweet about her, and I am totally blanking on her name. Looks like the Vikings are also looking into Titans director of player personnel, Monty Austinford, as well. So, yeah, Catherine Raichi, interesting hire for Minnesota. The Chargers, they are looking for a new special teams coordinator as well. We know the Chargers special teams were absolutely atrocious this year. They fired special teams coordinator Darius Swinton II. All the Associated Press All-Pro teams were announced today. And the first team looks like this. Quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Running back, Colts, Jonathan Taylor. Tight end, Ravens, Mark Andrews. Wide receiver, Packers, Devontae Adams. Rams, Cooper Kupp. Niners, Deebo Samuel. Left tackle, Niners, Trent Williams. Right tackle, Bucks, Tristan Wirfs. Left guard, Browns, Joel Bitonio. Right guard, Cowboys, Zach Martin. Center, Eagles, Jason Kelsey. And then defense, edge rusher, Steelers, TJ Watt. And Browns, Myles Garrett. Interior defensive lineman, Rams, Aaron Donald. Steelers, Cam Hayward. Linebackers, Colts, Darius Leonard. Cowboys, Micah Parsons. And Packers, Devondre Campbell. Corners are Cowboys, Trayvon Diggs. And Rams, Jalen Ramsey. And then safeties, Titans, Kevin Byard. And Bills, Jordan Poyer. Then special teams, place kicker, Ravens, Justin Tucker. Punter, Raiders, AJ Cole. Kick returner, Jets, Braxton Berrios. Punt returner, Ravens, Devin Duvernay. Special teamer, Saints, JT Gray. And then long snapper, Colts, Luke Rhodes. I think most of these guys are, well worth it. I know Lane Johnson made the second team. I didn't see the second team on there. I wasn't sure how many votes or whatnot it took to be second team, or how many players like at the wide receiver position, or other positions that have multiple players at it got in second team. So the one interesting name, I think, Devondre Campbell. What a find. I said this multiple times throughout the season, but Brian Gutekunst in Green Bay found Devondre Campbell after he was a free agent for about 3 months and brought him in, and has been just a whirlwind, sort of like when he pegged Rasul Douglas off of the Cardinals practice squad, just finding those guys that'll fit in your system the right way and produce for you is absolutely crazy that they can get those guys in there and producing. 5 guys were unanimous all pros. That is Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp, Packers wide receiver Devontae Adams, Colts running back Jonathan Taylor, Steelers linebacker TJ Watt, and Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald. All well worth it there. All right. Some random news. The Steelers appealed to Elias Sports Bureau, who does all the stats for the NFL, the official stats, and the Elias Sports Bureau denied the Steelers' request to give linebacker TJ Watt the NFL sack record. Talked about it on Monday. He got into the backfield after a bad snap to Tyler Huntley. Watt strip sacked Tyler Huntley, and they ruled him that it was an aborted play and a forced fumble and tackle for loss for TJ Watt, and not a sack fumble. So he still is tied. He still has a share of the NFL sack record. So didn't break it, but still tied. The Panthers announced they have no intention of trading Christian McCaffrey. I don't know why. You can probably get a lot for him still, even with his last 2 years of injury. I would try to get his salary off the books if I could. The Patriots placed corner Jalen Mills on the COVID list. Not sure if he's going to be able to play this weekend or not. Have to watch that as we move into the games. Bucks, they are getting back linebacker Shaquille Barrett, activating him off the COVID list. But they did place corner Richard Sherman on IR. He is done for the playoffs, his second time on the IR. So he will be coaching from the sideline. The Bucks, they activated linebacker Levante David and running backs Leonard Fournette and Giovanni Bernard off of IR. Massive get backs for them for Levante David and Leonard Fournette, playoff Lenny, as they say. So going to be tough on my Eagles this weekend. The Packers, they were getting back linebacker Whitney Merciless for the playoffs. Crazy. They're going to have an amazing pass rush when they come and play in the divisional playoffs. Smith brothers are going to be back, Zadarius and Preston. They got Rashawn Gary and then Whitney Merciless. That is a fearsome foursome, if I do say so myself. Also, name just randomly popped up. Steelers, they're going to get back wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. Could even possibly play this weekend. That is just crazy. He went and had shoulder surgery mid-season. Didn't play a lot of games and could be back. Could help Big Ben and the Steelers offense in Kansas City this weekend. Cardinals, their running back, James Conner, he is a game time decision. So might be a lot of Chase Edmonds on Monday. Luckily, they are playing on Monday, so they have a couple extra days to get him ready if he can go. The Eagles, they will have running back Miles Sanders. He is good to go off of hand surgery. Broke a bone in his hand there. The Chiefs, they are not going to have running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He was ruled out for this weekend already. And then two guys that they are expecting to play, though, wide receiver Tyreek Hill with his heel and running back Darrell Williams with his toe injury. So getting Williams in there would be a big boost. So they don't have to go all the way down to their third string running back. Raiders defensive lineman Darius Philon, he suffered a torn patellar tendon. He is done for the season. And then Seahawks safety Quandre Diggs mentioned his injury on Monday. He had successful surgery, and he is looking at a 4 to 5 month recovery, broken fibula and dislocated ankle there. Rams safety Jordan Fuller, he's done for the year, ankle injury. And weirdly enough, they signed 37-year-old safety Eric Weddle, 23-month retirement, retired last February. So just crazy, that he is even coming in and playing. He knows the system. Don't expect him to play a lot on Monday, but we'll see. The beard will be back. So in LA. And then interesting signing, the Bucs signed wide receiver John Brown to their practice squad, releasing running back Darwin Thompson as well in a coordinating transaction. So John Brown on the Bucs helped them out with their wide receiver woes. All right, the kind of final college pick standings here. Yeah, Chris ran away with it. He beat Mark by 9 and myself by 21. Big splits for Chris this year. So congratulations, Chris. You are the college football picks standings champ. NFL pick standings, yeah. Give me a sec. I forgot to change these. And it will be myself up here because I went 13-3 last week. I crushed my lone wolves. This is going to be one. I know math right now. Live air is fantastic. But yeah, it was a really, really good week for myself, man. I pretty took the lead over Mark here. And see, I crushed all the lone wolves. I don't know. This is like the best weekend I think that I probably ever had in picks. You know, it was pretty decent. Okay, now we're good. Yes, these are the final, or not the final, the updated NFL pick standings here. I'm in first by 1. Chris is back by 7 now. So I went into the week down 4 to Mark, down 2 or up 2 on Chris, and yeah, he's pretty far down now. All right, yeah. So I lone wolfed the Steelers last weekend. The lone wolves I got right: Steelers, Browns, Jags, Dolphins, and the Raiders. All those right last week. Mark and Chris were aligned, so they actually gave me separate picks this week, so that's cool. We're gonna roll with the Bengals here, starting off on Saturday tomorrow. Raiders at the Bengals. Cincy getting 5.5 points. Yeah, I think I like that. I know a lot of people like the Raiders plus 5.5, but I do know a lot of other people like the Bengals minus 5.5. So I think I like the Bengals minus 5.5. I think the Raiders are lucky to be here and to go to Cincinnati in the cold, possibly snow. I don't think they're going to be able to play like that. So over under is 48.5 here, and go under 48.5. 4:30 on NBC tomorrow. Tomorrow night, Patriots at the Bills in Buffalo. It's going to be cold, cold, cold. But they will not have wins like they did the last time they went to Buffalo. Chris is lone wolf in the Patriots. Not surprised. This is the AFC East matchup. You know how much he hates the Patriots, just like a lot of us do. But Buffalo should get the win. The Patriots, Mac Jones has been terrible the last few weeks of the season. The Bills, they haven't looked that great either in back-to-back wins over the Falcons and Jets. But I still think they have enough. The Patriots have some defensive injuries, and I think Josh Allen can exploit that. They've been running the ball very well with Devin Singletary, who I told you would have to be a key element down the stretch for the Bills, and he has been. And the Bills' defense is one of the best in the league. So I think they get the job done. They turned Mac Jones over 1 or 2 times like they did in the win in New England. And they go on to the AFC divisional playoffs. The over-under for this one is 44. I'm going over, actually. I think the Bills, they score enough points to get it over. 8:15 on CBS. It's weird. It's weird that CBS is at 8:15, NBC is at 4:30, but it is Saturday, so it's weird anyways. Sunday, Eagles at the Bucks. Yeah, we're all on Tampa Bay. Tom Brady should go back to the divisional round this year easily. I wouldn't say easily, actually. I do like Eagles plus 8.5, but yeah, Tampa Bay should get the win at home and move on. Over under is 45.5. I know my guy Full Slate likes the under. Apparently, there's going to be a lot of wind in Tampa on Sunday, so possibly look at the under in Tampa. 1 p.m. on Fox. Niners at the Cowboys. This is the closest playoff game I think we have this weekend, as you can see by the spread. Only 3 points. Mark's lone wolf in the Niners. Chris and I are on the Cowboys. I just think Dallas can get by the Niners. Their secondary is not that good. The Cowboys have the passing attack to beat them. The biggest question is going to be, will Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead be able to get to Dak before he's able to throw to his elite receivers on the outside? And I think the answer is no. I hate picking the Cowboys, but I do think that they're going to win the game at home in Dallas. Over under is 51, and I am going under. The Cowboys defense keeps it under 51. 4:30 on CBS Sunday. Last game we're going to pick here, Sunday Night Football, Steelers at the Chiefs. Mark's lone wolf in the Steelers. I wish I was going with him, but I just can't. It's in Kansas City. The Steelers just got blown out 36-10 last time they played there a couple weeks ago. So I do like Steelers plus 12.5, but I don't like them straight up. I just think the Chiefs are too good and their defense is playing too well. I think it's a lot closer than the first game, but the Chiefs do move on once again and end Big Ben's career. Over under is 46, and it was, like I said, 36-10 last time. Exactly 46. Go under. The two defenses should play lights out in this game. 8:15 on NBC. Yeah, we do have playoff best bets. The locks and dogs are gone for the playoffs, but I'll keep running out my best bets. Maybe decrease it to 1 or 2 in the next few weeks as the number of games decrease. But for wild card weekend, I like the Bengals minus 5.5 against the Raiders. Joe Burrow is going to be too much for that defense, even if Max Crosby has another day like he did the last time they played last season, where he had a 61.2% pass rush win rate against Cincinnati. Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon still beat the Raiders. The Eagles plus 8.5 at Tampa. This one's kind of iffy. I would love it to be 9 or 10, but it is 8.5 currently, so I'll take it. The Eagles played and covered 8 or pushed 8, I believe it was, in their matchup against the Bucs earlier this season in Philadelphia. I think it'll be much the same. I think the Eagles will play the Bucs very closely. They're going to run the ball even against the Bucs' vaunted defense, and I still think they can play to within 1 score. So, update: Georgia loses another player. Linebacker Nakobe Dean has declared for the 2022 NFL Draft. So, 2-1 last week, though. I forgot to mention best bets. I hit on the Steelers plus 3.5 at the Ravens, lost on the Packers minus 3 at the Lions, and then hit also on Washington minus 7 at the Giants. I'm rolling with the Steelers again, though, plus 12.5 at the Chiefs. Like I said, I don't know if they win outright, but I do think it'll be a lot closer than last time, and I am rolling plus 12.5 at Kansas City there. Final lock standings. Yes, I am the locks champion. I got it done last week. Mark and Chris were together on the Cardinals. That did not work out. Seattle upset them 38-30. I was on Washington. Still no idea how they were only a 7-point favorites against the horrendous Giants team. But yeah, I hit that one, so I got it. I got the win on the last week of the regular season. 14-5 on the year, 13-6 for Mark and Chris. Really, really solid lock standings this year, boys. And we'll get it going next season when we bring the locks back. So doom, as NFL Game Day Morning crew would say. Final dog standings. Mark is our dogs champion, I believe, for the second straight year. He beat Chris by 4 and myself by 6. I had a losing record even after a 2-0 week 18. Mark and Chris went 1-1 on the Bengals +6 at the Browns. They covered, did not win. And I hit on the Steelers +3.5 at the Ravens. They won outright in Baltimore to get to the playoffs. So again, congrats, guys. You know, Chris and I, not that great. Mark, the only guy over 500. So congrats, buddy. You are the dog champ, just like our Georgia Dogs. So, all right, next Friday, we'll be back. We'll be breaking down the divisional round weekend coming up next Saturday and Sunday. Looking forward to all the NCAA NFL news. We'll have head coaching news, GM news, maybe even some hirings, possibly if some teams are going that quickly, possibly the Jags. I know they started at the earliest, so we'll look into those. And yeah, we're rolling along. It's getting closer to no football, y'all. It's not a good time of the year, but it is a good time to crown a champion. So this playoff beard is still rolling until the Eagles and Steelers are out of the playoffs. So we'll see how long it goes, if it ends this weekend or not. But good news, I did pass my first semester of law school, so that's a plus. We'll have to get back on track here this semester coming in the next couple weeks. But don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen.